Hello, everybody. Welcome to Chit Chat Diaries. Good afternoon, good evening, or good morning to you, depending on where you are. Now, today we have a really special topic. It's called resilience during crisis. And I already see people joining us live. So, welcome, welcome. So today we are going to have a really special guest, Mr. Ellil Mathiyan. I'm going to get him on soon on this Chit Chat Live. Now, Ellil is a double cancer survivor and also a patient advocate. So I'm sure, when it comes to learning how to deal with crisis situation, he's the perfect person. So let's just get him on. Hey, Ellil.
Hi. How are you, Payal?
I am good. A very good afternoon to you, Ellil. Thank you so much for
Good
joining.
Good afternoon for having me on.
So, Ellil, how was your afternoon so far?
All right, pretty good. Just taking the opportunity to do some clearing up, decluttering.
Decluttering, yes. And I think I should be really grateful for you to really come here, because I was just sharing with the audience that's joining us live, and for those who will join us later, that we have a very special guest today who will really help us to understand what is it like to go through crisis situation and really come out of it. Because I think usually when we go through difficult times, we panic, we don't know what to do, and we don't even expect them to happen. So I guess when I first saw you sharing, that was, I think, 2 years ago. So when I first heard your story, I was really, really inspired. So I'm really hoping that the ones joining today and watching this can take a lot of insights from you. So Ellil, why don't we straight just dive into your story of battling with cancer and the series of events that took place. So all yours.
Yeah, so basically what happened was I was, 52 then, and there were some really bad symptoms, and it got me worried. Basically, it had to do with my bowel habits. So as I go and take a poo, and there's lots of blood actually flowing out. So those were the symptoms.
That's how it started.
Right, and so it got me really worried. So I went to see the doctors, and they referred me to a specialist. They had a scope done, and then it was diagnosed that I had rectal cancer. Right. So just having rectal cancer alone is hard enough, but because of the nature of the tumor and its location, I also had to have a stoma created. Now, for those in the audience who don't know what a stoma is, it's actually something that they pull out in your abdomen, part of the intestine, to facilitate the passage of stools. So that was pretty difficult to deal with as well, because there was a change in the anatomy, there's a change in the way you live life. So it was tough. Well, that wasn't all. During the prep for the surgery, they actually found another tumor in the groin, and then I was told that was malignant too, and I had 2 cancers at the same time. So 2 cancers and a permanent stoma is quite difficult to deal with, all at one shot. So so the surgery was done, as I said, and the treatment was both chemotherapy and radiation. So I had 28 cycles of radiation and 8 cycles of chemo, and the whole thing lasted about 6 months. So of course, during the chemo and the radiation, there are a lot of side effects. Of course, the pain is there, the nausea, the diarrhea, the irritability, a whole host of them. So putting up with that was challenging also. But I think one of the more difficult things I felt during that time was because my mom was unwell as well during that time.
Right.
So she was in the hospital.
Touch your mom.
Correct. And because she wasn't in very good health, right, I couldn't really tell her about my condition. Right. So that was really difficult, So I had to go to the for my radiation, and then after I go and visit her in the hospital. At the same time, not being able to tell her what I was going through, and that was really tough. Yeah.
So a lot of emotions were coming to you at that moment, and I guess there was lack of support, and you really wanted someone to be there, but you could not because your mom herself was not keeping pretty well. So Ellil, I mean, knowing what happened to you, you know, when you were 52 years old and the 6 months of challenges that you went through, but I see you here today. So during that time, what happened? What kept you going, or how did you manage this entire situation to move forward?
Right. So I think the two main things. One was usually when people get diagnosed with cancer, they always ask why me, right? But in my case, thinking back, you know, I wasn't really living a very healthy life. I wasn't really having a very healthy lifestyle. So I smoked, you know, drank high levels of stress, poor diet control. So yeah, that was a question I couldn't. It was more like why not? Why me?
Why me? Yeah,
So,
that's the first question.
so yeah, so having realized that, then the only thing was to look forward because we can't undo what already has been done. So sort of putting it in perspective and saying that, okay, the best thing to do now would be to look forward, focus on the treatment, get better. But I guess the other motivation was because I had my mom to look after as well, because most of my siblings are overseas, so I was one of the primary caregivers. So, and to be able to be there for her was more important to me. It was something really that, and I had to do. And so I think it made me, it gave me the strength to deal with what I was going through, right? As well as, you know, just make sure that I was able to be there for my mom as well. And I think there's a huge motivation.
Right. So I guess the pillars, the two pillars that kept you moving forward, you know, because usually we stop there and say, why me? Or we try to fight the situation. But what you did is, firstly, I guess you accepted things as it is, you know, taking ownership. So taking ownership that, yes, probably what has led me into this crisis situation is because of the actions that I probably took, the decisions I made in the past. But right now, I accept it. And once I accept it, I want to now move forward to see what can be done about it. So acceptance was the first step. And I guess the second pillar that I heard you say was that there has to be a cause outside of you that you care about. So in this case, I guess it started with your mother. So the cause that you cared for was, you know, taking care of your mother. So it was somewhere that you were directing your energy. So the acceptance and to care for something even outside of you was kind of what kept you going.
Right. I think you put it really, really well. I mean, trust you to explain the science behind everything, you know. Yeah, and I think the key was acceptance. And for everybody else out there, I think everything, proper rehabilitation can only start if you get past the acceptance stage. Yeah.
That's right. And I think for the ones watching, you know, this is a really important point to note because I guess all of us at some point in our life, including myself in the past, you know, I used to struggle until I found out the magic was to just accept the situation, you know, and that's when you can move ahead. Again, also at this point, I would like to encourage the viewers, in case you have any questions, just feel free to comment and we will answer it as and when we can. Yeah. So great. So those were the two things. Now, Ellil, may I just ask, you know, because I know that you have been so active, patient advocate. So I think, you know, when people see the term double cancer survivor, which you already are and you spoke about it, and patient advocate. So what is that all about? Because you just didn't stop at your mother, but you went beyond to give back to the society. So what was that and how did it help you personally to fight this?
All right. So when I was diagnosed with, you know, my condition, there was very little support that was forthcoming from the hospital, especially the hospital I was, you know, operated on. So I had lots of questions. You know, I luckily, you know, I'm a bit educated and I'm familiar with computers, so I could go online and you know, just search for stuff. But imagine for those who don't have you know, this ability, right? I mean, they'll be totally lost. So having been through that, I wanted to make sure that others who were in a similar situation had the help that they needed. So that was one of the main things that was behind what I was doing. And also, I think, and I quote this very freely. Those who know me will probably be sick of hearing it. I always believe that, then I like to quote Mark Twain. The two most important days in a man's life. Okay, one is the day he was born, and second is the day he finds out why.
The second is?
The day he finds out why.
So
right?
one more time for the ones listening, quote by Mark Twain: "A man is born twice."
No, a man. There are two most important days in a man's life.
Two most important days in man's life. The first one is when he is
the
born.
day he's born. Yeah.
And the second
is the day you find out why. Yeah.
Okay, great. And
so,
I think, go ahead.
So basically, I think I found my purpose. I wanted to reach out. I wanted to be, provide support for those in a similar condition. And also, although I was struggling with two cancers and a stoma, I believe that I was better off than many of them out there. So I felt that what I had, the skills I have, the ability I have, the time I have, I can put it to good use by reaching out and helping others. All right. And actually, a lot of people think that, okay, by doing this right, you're spending a lot of time and effort. But actually, it's quite I feel that it's a bit selfish of me because actually what you put in, right, you get a lot more back in return.
Really? And that's what you experienced?
Yeah. There's a great sense of fulfillment. It's very rewarding. And you really feel good about yourself. That you're doing something useful and you're helping others and you're reaching out. Yes.
Right. You feel that you matter and there's a big value you provide to others, to the society. Now, it's very true because, they say when it comes to your passion and your purpose, passion is when we talk about what I enjoy and purpose is what we do for others. So right now, when you said you found out why you were born, and the second one is when you found out why. So that was the purpose and it was for others. And I guess compassion is the word here. So we've heard such gems right now, in this conversation, like when you are going through these difficult times, I think the pillars that I picked up that we have to go through is first, acceptance. Second one is try to give something to someone outside of you, go outside of you. And then the third one, I think, is finding your purpose through your crisis. What is it that you can give back? And that is what is going to develop your compassion, which makes you feel good because you get a lot of things in return, as what you said.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Great. So I guess this is really very powerful, because when it comes to crisis, it's always seen as something negative, but nobody really thinks that crisis is actually a way to your evolution. So I always say, there's a quote that I always put out, there's no such thing as crisis. It's always constant evolution. So you keep evolving from there. And does that mean that we're going to stop? No, it is going to be another challenge. So I'm sure you experience more challenges coming forward as well.
Definitely. But I think what I've been through has put me in a very good state, to face what happens. I think when you go through a long illness, when you go through that many days of medical leave and pain, you have a lot of time to reflect. And I think your perspective changes totally, right? Before it used to be just, living from day to day, going to work, coming back, paying the bills. And then later on you ask yourself, there has got to be more to life than that.
Right. Yes. Yeah. Absolutely. Great. So Ellil, at this point, I think what I would ask you is, if anyone here watching this, either they're watching live or they're going to watch the recorded version, if they're watching this and they're going through a crisis situation right now, it doesn't matter small or big, because I guess we cannot put a label or define how big or small a crisis it is for them individually. But if they are going through the situation, what is that one piece of advice that you would really like to give them to come out of it and keep going?
Right. So I won't call it advice because I don't think I'm there yet to give advice. But I think what I would say is no crisis is insurmountable. What may seem like a mountain to climb for us may have, a solution. It may not be an easy solution, but it's definitely a solution. So the important thing is to reach out, speak to someone, pick up a phone, call someone. You never know how your friend or your loved one can look at it in a different way. and put things in, perspective for you and show you a way out. So don't eat yourself up thinking about it that, you have to deal with it all by yourself. No. All right. There's lots of help out there. So you need to reach out.
Okay. So you are never alone. You are always supported. You just need to be open to it.
Right. Absolutely.
Great. So, Ellil, I guess at this point, you were talking about reaching out to someone and, just being there, or also getting help for yourself. It works both ways. So if, let's say, any one of the people here who are watching want to do something for the society or even get information about this, I know that you work for a lot of causes. So one thing is they may want to reach out to you, or if they want, they can also support the causes that you're caring for. So could you give us a little bit more information about that? How can they reach out to you, and what causes or sources can they look for?
Sure. I'm on Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn, and my name is quite unique. I think it's very easy for you to link up with me, right? So you can link up with me through social media, and we can take it from there. And one of the things that I'm really passionate about is reaching out and to help other cancer survivors who are going through a very difficult time. Not everybody is as blessed as I am, able to afford the cost of treatment and having very good family and friend support. So I do a lot for the Singapore Cancer Society, and one of the most important events of the year to raise awareness and to raise funds for needy cancer patients is something called the Relay for Life, right? Because of so the COVID-19 has sort of stop the physical gathering of people, around the stadium. Actually, we do it around the stadium track overnight for 15 hours. But right now it's a virtual event, but you can still take part. So I think the link will be displayed shortly, right? And once you click there, I think you can support a cause by either taking part, and that will ensure that awareness is raised. You will learn more about the causes you are supporting. And of course, the other way is to donate, because we also raise funds. Yeah.
Yes. And I guess donation is mainly because, like what you said, not everybody may be able to afford the treatment like you could.
That's right.
So I guess that is the reason why it is important. So if you're able to go physically and help out in organizations, great. But if not, even if you can donate a small amount, that's good enough, and that really helps. So we are in Singapore, and that's the reason why I will definitely put up the links later on this video for people to reach out, or they can reach out to you directly. And I think I highly encourage all of you watching to also look out for local organizations, trusted organizations that can do that. And I don't know, Ellil, maybe if they reach out to you, probably you can guide them better on how to find the right source. And because there are so many scams going around during COVID, so how can you reach out to the right one, so you can guide them on that as well?
Right. Actually, in addition to that, what I usually do is when someone reaches out to me, I don't just automatically insist that they volunteer with the causes that I am supporting. I will really sit down and discuss with them what are all the other causes which are out there as well. And it's very important to make sure there's a match between what you believe and the skill sets that you have and the cause that you're supporting. Right? So it doesn't have to be one that I'm supporting, but I'm more than happy to share other things that are,
Absolutely. And I think it can be for any cause, not just for cancer, but anything that you want to give back to society, So
exactly.
I guess to sum up our conversation that we had today, when you're going through resilience, when you're going through crisis and you want to have resilience, the three pillars are firstly acceptance that yes, this is the situation. You can't do anything about it. Just take ownership that it is what it is because of my past actions. So acceptance. The second one is giving back. And I think the third one is finding your purpose, which leads to compassion.
Spot on. Spot on.
Thank you. I just picked up from you. I mean, whatever you shared, I just kind of put it up in a little package. So I guess thank you so much, Ellil, for spending your Sunday afternoon with us. And I'm sure the ones watching and the ones who will watch later can pick up these little nuggets here and there during the video that we mentioned. And I wish you a wonderful, wonderful Sunday evening.
Right. Payal, really, thank you very much for this opportunity to share. And
My
yeah,
pleasure.
really glad to be able to do this. Thank you so much.